Okay, today we're going to be reading Wilfred Gordon McDonald Partridge. This is by Mem Fox, and it's one of my favorite books that she's ever written. Get the tissues ready because it's a tear jerker. I'm going to try to make it through this without crying, which I normally can't do, but I'm going to try really hard today. All right, so Wilfred Gordon McDonald Partridge. All right, and before we read, I want you to be thinking about what is a memory. Okay, what does that mean, a memory? Maybe think about one of your favorite memories. Okay. There once was a small boy called Wilfred Gordon McDonald Partridge. And what's more, he wasn't very old either. His house was next door to an old people's home, and he knew all the people who lived there. So we also know this house or this building as a nursing home or an assisted living home. Those are other names for an old people home. Okay, so I'm wondering, why could this detail about Wilfred be important to the story, that he lives next to this home? He liked Miss Jordan, who played the organ. He listened to Mr. Hosking, who told him scary stories. He played with Mr. Tippett, who was crazy about cricket. He ran errands for Miss Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. He admired Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant. I like how they have the illustrations here. But his favorite person of all was Miss Nancy Allison Delacourt Cooper, because she had 4 names just as he did. He called her Miss Nancy and told her all his secrets. So they had something in common. They had a connection about their names. One day, Wilfred Gordon heard his mother and father talking about Miss Nancy. "Poor old thing," said his mother. "Why is she a poor old thing?" asked Miss Wilfred Gordon. "Because she's lost her memory," said his father. "It isn't surprising," said his mother. "After all, she is 96. "What's a memory?" asked Wilfred Gordon. He was always asking questions. "It is something you remember," said his father. So I'm wondering what Mom means by it's not surprising that she's lost her memory, that she's 96. But Wilfred Gordon wanted to know more, so he called on Miss Jordan, who played the organ. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something warm, my child, something warm." So Dad said that it's something you remember. And Miss Jordan says it's something warm. So now Wilfred Gordon has 2 definitions that he's kind of playing around with to figure out what is a memory. He called on Mr. Hosking, who told him scary stories. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something from long ago, me lad. Something from long ago." So something you remember, something warm, and something from long ago. He called on Mr. Tippett, who was crazy about cricket. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something that makes you cry, my boy. Something that makes you cry." He called on Miss Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. "What's a memory?" he asked. "Something that makes you laugh, my darling. Something that makes you laugh." So how could these 2 definitions be so opposite? Something that makes you cry, but also something that makes you laugh. And then we have the other definitions too. Something you remember, something warm, and what was the last one? Something from long ago. He called on Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant. "What's a memory?" he asked. something as precious as gold, young man. Something as precious as gold. I know that the word precious means something that is really loved or has a lot of value. So I wonder what he could mean by this. If it's a lot of value or really loves memories. So Wilfred Gordon went home again to look for memories for Miss Nancy because she had lost her own. He looked for the shoebox of shells he had found long ago, last summer, and put them gently in a basket. So something from long ago. He found the puppet on strings, which always made everyone laugh, and he put that in a basket too. So something to make someone laugh. He remembered with sadness the medal which his grandfather had given him, and he placed it gently next to the shells. Next, he found his football, which was as precious as gold. And last of all, on his way to Miss Nancy's, he went into the hen house and took a fresh, warm egg from under a hen. So to me, if his football is precious as gold, it must mean a lot to Wilfred Gordon. So he's got something from long ago, something to make him laugh, something that was sad, something precious as gold, and something warm. Then Wilfred Gordon called on Miss Nancy and gave her each thing one by one. What a dear, strange child to bring me all these wonderful things, thought Miss Nancy. And then she started to remember. She held the warm egg and told Wilfred Gordon about the tiny speckled blue eggs she'd once found in a bird's nest in her aunt's garden. She put a shell to her ear and remembered going to the beach by tram long ago and how hot she had felt in her bottom-up boots. She touched the medal and talked sadly of the big brother she had loved who had gone to the war and never returned. She smiled at the puppet on strings and remembered the one she had shown to her sister and how she laughed with a mouthful of porridge. She bounced the football to Wilfred Gordon and remembered the day she had met him and all the secrets they had told. And the two of them smiled and smiled because Miss Nancy's memory had been found again by a small boy who wasn't very old either. So there's the author mentioning that detail about Wilfred's age again. So I'm wondering why he added that. My thinking is that even though he's a small child who's not very old, he was able to do such a great thing by bringing her memory back or bringing things to her to bring her memories. So I hope you liked Wilfred Gordon McDonald Partridge. And I'm thinking that if you all had a favorite memory, maybe you could categorize them into something from long ago, or something warm, or something that made you laugh or cry, that maybe we could have some good conversations around this, or share it with your families at the dinner table. Thanks for joining in.